Meghan didn't like Africa.
Skies.
She hated the trip to South Africa.
Royal insider Tina Brown, author of the Palace Papers, has issued a warning to the British royal family and Prince William about the danger Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are now putting the entire monarchy in. That comes as she has a major revelation in regards to Prince William and how he intends to raise Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. This all part of the fallout from Tom Bower's book. Here is the Tina Brown headline. Are the Windsors underestimating the Sussex problem? And that comes as Bower himself continues to drop truth bombs about Meghan Markle, including the fact that despite her fakery with Harry, she actually hates Africa. Look.
Meghan didn't like Africa. So
Hang on, I thought they got engaged under the African stars.
Exactly. I think that was
under African skies.
She hated the trip to South Africa.
In a glorified tent, Tim.
Yeah.
But of course, much of the current meltdown is because of the fact that Harry is worried about losing those all-important titles.
Everyone was saying you couldn't take away Andrew's titles without an act of parliament and everything else. And suddenly they invented letters patent to take them away, a great constitutional fudge. I think Harry realizes that once William becomes king, he's in danger of losing his titles.
Really?
Absolutely.
Isn't that a declaration of brotherly war?
Well, there is a declaration of brotherly war, but it was declared by Harry. I mean, who did it?
All of this comes as Meghan Markle's Hollywood humiliation continues. We're going to get into it all today with royal YouTube sensation P-Dina. But first, to this Tina Brown warning. And look, the thing about Tina Brown is I don't actually agree with her solution to the problem, because her solution to the problem is always this idea that somehow Harry and Meghan can just return and everything's going to be okay and they're going to be welcomed. However, her diagnosis of just what peril Harry and Meghan continue to put the monarchy in, with that I am on board. So on her Fresh Hell Substack, Tina Brown writes, just how desperate does the House of Windsor want Harry and Meghan to get? The royals and their advisors don't seem to see the iceberg looming from sunny Montecito. Distracted by the Andrew Mountbatten Windsor catastrophe, the palace remains in a perplexed haze about one of the Andrew scandal's less discussed lessons, the perils to the monarchy, when peripheral royals hang out with the uber-rich and start to consider themselves by comparison broke. Potential reputational hazards to the Sussexes lurk in the dreaded moral pitfall of wanting to fly private. On their 2024 DIY royal tour of Nigeria to promote Harry's and Victor's games, Meghan's refusal to fly by military transport meant the couple availed themselves of a small plane supplied by the Nigerian big shot Alan Onyema. Without palace advisors to brief them, Harry and Meghan seemed unaware that Onyema was wanted in the US on charges of money laundering. Sounds just like the kind of dodgy dude Prince Andrew would have invited to a straightforward shooting weekend. And she adds, I am told that the heir to the throne, Prince William, is preoccupied with the built-in risk of primogeniture's cruelty. He is determined that his second and third-born children, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, are well prepared and well financed for independent lives and will not fall into the same cycle of thwarted freedom. But what about his traitorous brother? The rupture with Harry is bigger than a sibling feud. Before the Sussexes crash and burn, the House of Windsor needs to put aside Schadenfreude and grip the problem. Give Harry and Meghan a limited international role. Cough up a turnkey pied d'etat for them in Buckingham Palace, where none of the rest of the family wants to live anyway. Pay their damn security bill. It won't be a good look if Harry, a veteran of 2 tours of Afghanistan, is taken out by a nut job. In return, the Sussexes must put a sock in it. As for the press's obsession with brotherly reconciliation and forgiveness, forget it. For 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II spent her reign smiling tightly at people she couldn't stand. So P-Dina, as I say, this is not a take that I agree with. I think there is no way that Harry and Meghan should be welcomed back, and I think they actually would pose more of a risk in terms of having proximity to the British royal family. But what's interesting here is that Tina Brown, who was a bit of a champion of Harry and Meghan in the early days, is now just accepting that it has been a disaster and making the point that their new commercial plans, like Meghan's trip to Australia, have a real ring of post-divorce Fergie, of post-divorce Andrew. And actually, there is a threat. We are on a mission to 700,000 subscribers. So I need you to do something for me right now. It is free. It is easy. It is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet. And it is the best way to support Outspoken. We're totally independent, by the way. No big tech backing, no billionaires pulling the strings. And if you turn on the bell, you'll get alerted to all our new videos.
Yes. So, when she mentions to provide these things like Schadenfreude to Harry and Meghan, and then they would have to put a sock in it. That's just the problem right there. They won't put a sock in it. Meghan will never come back willingly and put a sock in it. Like, this is a couple that doesn't really have good clarity on what they want to do. And Meghan will always make problems, I believe, being in a situation that she doesn't want to be a part of. And so there really is no solution for, the palace to try to accommodate them so that they can support, the monarchy better with having them on their side, because that will never happen. I think at this point, looking at what happened with Andrew, you have to get as far away as possible from the potential problem so that when the problem does become enormous, you're already far away. And I think that's what you need to do with Harry and Meghan now. You need to plan to be far away from this couple, because Meghan will be the person that spearheads a lot of problems for the monarchy, because she is so jealous of Catherine. She's jealous of the position that she holds, because she'll never be at the top. And so I think it's a warning for, the palace to try to distance themselves from Harry and Meghan. Now is the time, because it will not get better. It will only get worse.
And you can see just how bad things are getting, P-Dina, because, for example, this Australian trip is already a total PR disaster before it has even began, with now headlines running throughout the mainstream media all around the world about the fact that Australians are revolting at what is being described as a pseudo-royal visit. And there is actually a signature, a petition, which now has 32,000 signatures demanding that public money isn't used. Now, what's so interesting is the Sussex's team immediately briefed back on the record saying, oh, no, this isn't going to cost Australians anything. But the problem is, no wonder Australians are worried, because they've seen what sort of grifters the Sussexes are, how they use left-wing governments to try and fund things that they do, how they've used the Colombian governments, the Nigerian governments, the Canadian governments, and are now demanding money from the British government. The thing is, people know. They know that this is a grift, and the grift is up, because it's not the government paying, is it? It's us. And here's a bit of detail about this mortifying petition on change.org. It is titled "No Taxpayer Funding or Official Support for Harry and Meghan's Private Visit." As of last night, P-Dina, it had reached a total of 32,715 signatures. I mean, that's huge for a petition in Australia. The group spearheading the campaign said the activities are private and commercial and must be treated strictly as a private visit at a time when Australians are facing significant cost of living pressures, including rising grocery bills, fuel prices, mortgage stress driven by interest rate hikes, and increasing energy costs. Public resources must be used responsibly and applied fairly without special treatment for high-profile individuals. There was speculation as to whether taxpayers would fund Meghan and Harry's visit, as both the federal and state governments in Australia had previously declined to confirm who would be responsible for their protection. And this is what's so fascinating, P-Dina. Australia, a country where they think they're really popular, but in fact, Australians saying, no, hang on a moment, don't ask us to fund this grift. And I think more and more this will start happening, P-Dina, wherever they go, because people are wise to their techniques, and especially their techniques when it comes to woke left-wing governments like the government in Australia, but the people are not with them.
Right. The people are not with them. And then there are also other circumstances that are happening in Australia. There's problems with the renovations that are still not complete. That's going to supposedly be done right before they're there. Also, there is a really bad sewage problem there, that there is a foul smell on the beaches. There is a lot of problems that they're having with the pollution. This is not just the taxpayers that are, giving problems to Harry and Meghan's trip, but the other things that are out of their control. And I just don't know how they're going to overcome a lot of different issues when they go there. I mean, this is a couple that doesn't have the right people working for them to really put something like this together. How do you try to go to a country where even the people are not really as friendly as they were with you when you were in the royal family? So for me, I think there's something else a part of this. Now, I did read that there was supposed to be an opening of Soho House, Australia, in Sydney, that has a secret date of when it's supposed to be opening. And I think Meghan might be a part of that as well. And I think this is why she wanted to go there during this specific time, because of that opening. Now, I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they're going to find a lot of problems when they get there, not just the taxpayers, but other issues as well.
Gosh, that will be interesting. Yes, I do know there is a Soho House Sydney coming, but would they really be so desperate? But in saying that, Marcus Anderson still seems to be involved in Soho House, so potentially. Now, what's so interesting too, P-Dina, is that celebrities are wise now to just how toxic having a connection publicly to the Sussexes are. And sometimes it's when you see it in the little ways that is so interesting. And the Hollywood star Jack Quaid was asked at a red carpet event last night about starring alongside Meghan Markle in this new Amazon movie, Close Personal Friends. Now, this is the Jeff Bezos production, and she plays herself. It was leaked. News of it was leaked to the Sun newspaper. Do you remember this? On the day that Prince William was hosting major celebrities like Shawn Mendes and Kylie Minogue for his Earthshot Prize, successfully managing to bump him off the front page of the Sun newspaper at least. But what's so interesting is you see in this interview, and it's really short, but Jack Quaid has like a deer in a headlights moment where he's like, oh God, they've asked me about Meghan. And he says, it's insane, which is quite a weird way to describe it. Certainly no praise for her, but immediately wants to move the conversation on to speak about the cast members who he does like, who he does feel comfortable about, and who he doesn't believe are going to sort of give off toxicity onto him. Watch this.
Excited to see you in your upcoming film, Close Personal Friends. What can you tease about working with Meghan Markle?
Yeah, no, it's insane. The main cast of it is myself, Brie Larson, Henry Golding, and Lily Collins, which is just an incredible group of people.
But first, new year, clean slate, and a quick nod to a tool I genuinely rely on every day of my life: Surfshark. Right now, governments, big tech, and opportunistic hackers are hoovering up data like never before. Here in the UK, we've even watched journalism, including some of ours here at Outspoken, get fenced off under the Online Safety Act. That's why I keep Surfshark VPN running. It keeps my browsing private, helps me push back against creeping censorship, and lets me watch the news and shows I pay for wherever I am, even if I'm abroad and something quietly vanishes from the UK library. But Surfshark isn't just a VPN, it's a proper security toolkit for everyday browsing. Clean Web strips out intrusive ads, aggressive trackers, malware, and phishing links so pages load cleaner and faster. If the VPN ever drops, Kill Switch cuts your internet instantly so your real details don't leak. Need your banking app to skip the VPN? Bypasser handles that in just a couple of clicks. With 3,200 plus servers in over 100 countries, you can switch locations in seconds, which is great for content and for sniffing out better prices, by the way. I've actually nabbed cheaper flights that way, believe it or not. You get unlimited devices too, so one plan covers your entire household. If you want to lock down your data, defend your online freedom, and support Outspoken too, head to surfshark.com/outspoken or use the code Outspoken at checkout for an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. That's surfshark.com/outspoken using the code Outspoken for an extra 4 months on us. But now, back to the show. So that's the incredible group of people. But she's not part of that, P-Dina.
You know, in Hollywood, you have to say nice things. You have to. And if you don't have anything nice to say, move on and say something about people that you really like. And that's what we have here. So I'm not surprised by that. That's just exactly what you have to do because you just can't say anything nice. So yeah, don't say anything at all. It's funny to see him do that though, right? Yeah, because we can feel him in that moment. Yeah, you just can't say anything nice about this girl.
Totally. And that's why I think it was probably such a mad decision for the producers of this movie to bring her in. But there's been a huge pushback from the Sunshine Sachs Montecito mob this week. And the best that they could do, P-Dina, in terms of trying to take away from the devastation of the Netflix fallout in terms of the unfollow from Ted Sarandos, the dropout from Was Never, was this revelation that there is a new scripted project in the works, and it is a dramatic retelling of their Netflix docuseries Polo, which remember was really one of their biggest flops. Not even a discussion that show, and I watched it all and it was bad, should go on for a second series. Now, it's got some big names working behind the scenes, but I just really don't ever expect to see this on screen. Do you? I mean, it's been described as an upstairs, downstairs drama set in the high-flying equestrian town of Wellington, Florida, revolving around the messy dynamics between two rival teams and the families that lead them. The thing is, P-Dina, obviously there can be a beautiful cast and you could have really lovely sets and big drama. I'm sort of thinking like a Footballers' Wives type show. But the difference is, if you look at a drama like Footballers' Wives, well, so many millions around the world engage in football. Polo is a sport which is quite removed from ordinary people's lives. Personally, I just don't really see this working, because the other problem that they've got is they surely won't allow it to be too raunchy or too dramatic, because they're quite po-faced in terms of what they do, given they are attached to this project as executive producers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to make conflict between, I think, Harry and Nacho. At least I saw some advertisement about that. They're trying to create some controversy to make it exciting. I just think you're trying to create something that is not there. We know that Harry and Nacho are pretty good friends, right? So you're just trying to make something up to, prove that you can make something successful with, some drama. I think it's a bad idea. I don't understand why they would even want to revisit this whole polo thing. Like you said, no one's really interested in this sport like that at really big numbers. It's such a small, select few of people that really are even able to participate and even watch this sport. So I just don't understand why they would go this way with this polo show. It doesn't make sense to me. And the drama they're going to create is not going to create authentic hype around any storyline that makes people want to watch, because it's all fake. I don't get it.
But there is this desperate bid, P-Dina, and we saw it, didn't we, when Meghan stepped out with Kelly Zedge-Finn and very much was like, I'm putting my best foot forward on the red carpet. There is very much a PR pushback going on. And we're seeing it from lots of people connected to Meghan. I was very interested by this Daily Mail exclusive interview with Eric Roberts, who is Julia Roberts' brother, and his casting director and manager wife, Eliza, really pushing the idea that Meghan Markle is going to come back to acting and blow everyone's mind. They said, it's time. Meghan needs to come back to work. I feel like her whole family will support it, and she is amazing. And they just went on and on and on about how brilliant an actress she is. And they say, I think she will come back, and I think she's going to be fantastic and blow everybody's mind. And it's like, really? Where is this coming from? Where is there a desire for Meghan to act? But then I realized, no, this is to send a message to Hollywood and the producers that Meghan is on the market for the right part. But the problem is, people are very wary of dragging down a project by linking her to it.
Yes, and Megan is not the kind of person that wants to show up and do her homework. She is so entitled in her mindset, and that is the worst kind of way of looking at things that you can have if you want to get back into the field of acting and to really do something exceptional. This woman doesn't know discipline and humility to even show up in a way to get people to root for her. I think it will just be a disaster. Megan is going to show up as if she should be the A-lister that is headlining a movie. And pretty soon, she'll even have more Hollywood people not really liking her because how she is going to show up with that mindset. I completely disagree with what Eric Roberts is saying here. I think Megan is not really known, I guess, that well to some people in the industry about her behavior, but they'll soon find out, and he'll be saying something completely different later. So, yeah, I think that this is, though, something that she has to do. She has to go back to acting, and we haven't seen her really doing anything in terms of a stretch with her acting. So I don't see how they can say she's a really great actress. I mean, legitimately, when I've seen her, it's just been average. There's been nothing exceptional about her acting. So she has a long way to go to get to being someone like a Meryl Streep. Let's just say that.
That is for sure. P-Dina, it has been another disastrous week, of course, for the couple. Prince Harry and this court case with the Daily Mail, such a bad move. And on the final day of testimony, having, I guess, got away with anything that made him look really bad over the course of the 6 weeks, although I would argue actually he has been proven to be a liar and proven to be someone who is in communication with journalists, someone who even gave his phone number and swapped messages with Charlotte Griffiths, for example, of the Mail on Sunday, appeared to lie about the level of conversation and relationship he'd had with Rebecca English, for example. So I think there was a lot that was bad for him. But the really bad line came in the last day when Gavin Burrows, who is the star witness, or was meant to be the star witness, I should say, for Prince Harry's side, said, all of my confessions that this entire case was based on were a lie. This signature of mine was forged, and you can actually see when you compare it to his real signature, it doesn't even look like it. And then he says during his evidence that indeed there was only one instance, P-Dina, when he was reporting on Prince Harry during his time in newspapers, and it was when he was looking for Harry's drug dealer at the China White nightclub. Now, I always said, P-Dina, this case was such a big risk for Prince Harry. He's lucky that the mainstream media are terrified with him because despite this case, when Harry was giving evidence, receiving huge coverage on the likes of Woke ITV and the British Bashing Corporation, this drug dealer claim was basically ignored by the mainstream media.
Yes, it's like when you open up these these court cases, all kind of information gets exposed. And just hearing that Harry's drug dealer, oh my goodness. it really puts Harry in a different light. I mean, it reminds people of the kind of person Harry is, what he's been going through, what he could still be going through. It's just not a good look. The whole lie and the deception around this signature and this testimony, I just think it's just a mess. It's like, why even put yourself in this situation? I think he's just compounded his problems with this case. He has definitely not made himself look good with everything that has come out about it. And I think it's part of the problem that he's having with his depression. I believe Harry is really depressed right now. And it's not just what's happening with this court case, it's things with Meghan and, the monarchy, and it's just their finances. It's one of these things where you make your life worse and worse with everything that you do. And it's playing out before the whole world. And that's another part of it. I just don't know how Harry and Meghan, for that matter, can survive everything that is happening to them, because nothing is going their way. And I can only imagine what is happening behind closed doors with this couple, because the whole world is watching the complete unraveling of their lives, and everything, like nothing is going well for them. Their relationships, their professional lives, their finances, the court case, things with the children and Meghan. I mean, it's just a mess. What do you do when this is your life? And I think pulling back and trying to just rid yourself of some of these issues that are just making your life worse is a big step in the right direction.
It hasn't been a great couple of weeks for the royals, but it was nice to see the King and Queen with a smile on their face, P-Dina. This over one of, I guess you might say, their most difficult cake cutting incidents. Look at what happened. And Camilla just got the giggles there, P-Dina. I loved that.
Yeah, that's always fun to see. Hey, look, nothing is perfect, and it's nice to see sometimes when things are, not perfect. It makes them look more relatable, right? I like seeing that kind of stuff.
Indeed. Look, P-Dina, a couple of other big pieces of news. The neighbours of Harry and Meghan in Montecito are turning on them. Plus, there is bombshell footage which really puts to one side Meghan's ludicrous claim that she doesn't use touch to control her husband. So I'm going to show you that video as the Royal Uncancelled After Show continues. We're going to do it over on Substack. You can join us there at www.outspoken.live, paid monthly, and annual subscribers get first access to our Uncancelled After Show with no advertising whatsoever, twice the length of what you may have just seen on YouTube. And you can watch live or on demand, whichever you prefer. So join us there now, www.outspoken.live. Dan Wootton Outspoken is your no spin, no bias, no censorship outlet for independent news. We have no big tech backing or billionaires pulling my strings, but that does mean I need your support. So please hit subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to Dan Wootton Outspoken on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's totally free, but allows me to continue my promise to always keep fighting for you.